Hello again, everyone. Welcome back, and welcome to a very informal day here on the review blog. I'm waiting for some cigars to rest a little longer before I review them. I'm real anxious to get to them. But while we're waiting, I thought I would answer a few questions that people ask me a lot, and seemed like a good way to fill in the time while we're waiting for those cigars to rest, which I think next weekend will be time. We'll be able to get to them. One thing I'll tell you about me is that I had my first cigar 20 years ago now. It was December 31st, 1998. And we were on a cruise. I knew nothing about cigars. We passed by Cuba, and I noticed that in the distance, and it got my mind to clicking that I ought to look for a Cuban cigar in Mexico. Not knowing anything about it, not knowing if I got a legitimate cigar or not, I went to a shop in Cozumel. I cannot tell you if it was the LCDH or not, probably not, but bought a Cohiba Esplendido and actually made that cigar last upwards of 3 days. I don't know how I did it. At the time, it cost $15, which I thought was outrageous, and I was determined to enjoy it and get my $15 worth out of it. So I would have some of it, let it go out, kept it in the room, no way to do any more with it. And that just sat on the counter, and had some the next day. It may have stretched into 3 days, but I know it was terrible, if it was even a real Cuban. But that was my beginnings into it. We came back from the cruise. We drove to Florida to get on the ship. Drove back through St. Augustine and found a cigar shop there in the historic district. Bought a few others, and as they say, it was like a snowball going downhill from that point. So that was the first time I had a cigar. I would like to think I know a little more about them from that early day, but that was my beginning. Now you might wonder, today I'm enjoying one of my cigars of the year in the past years, the Amazon Basin. Still love these. Another thing I'm asked a lot of, for some reason, people want to see my humidors. So I'm going to show you my humidors, okay? Here they are. Well, here's the first one. Keep quite a few cigars in here. I use this one about every day. Every level has different cigars in it, some of which you may recognize quickly. One of my go-to quick thing, plastic top, glass top. It's not glass. You can get to them real quickly. End table humidor with all kind of cigar related souvenirs. We'll look in here real quick, and you can see it's pretty well packed. All sorts of different cigars in here, boxes. And actually this goes 2 boxes deep. So also, here's where I keep, usually on this side, my cigars that'll be reviewed soon. And here you can see it's getting a little low. Not many new cigars coming out these days. Another humidor that I use just about every day. This is a nice one my wife also got me. Sits on legs. A lot of the cigars I've just reviewed are nicer cigars. two trays. This one under it, and then storage at the bottom. Nice humidor. Little humidors in the living room. This one I generally keep my nicer cigars, Cubans, what have you. You can see some of them there. And sort of an overflow humidor. It just balances the table is the only reason it's there. I don't use it that much. Then one last humidor here on the table, which is sort of a lot of times this humidor gets used for cigars that I use or have while I'm out in the yard working. I refuse to call it what a lot of people do for those type of cigars because I respect them too much, but I do keep cigars that I would smoke mostly in the yard here. So those are the humidors. That's where everything's kept. Now, we had some questions I'm going to address. Robert Sin. Okay, Tim, 3 questions. What is your favorite vacation getaway? The Caribbean is the short answer. We actually go to Jamaica every year, Dominican Republic, and most years to Cancun, Mexico. If not there, somewhere in the Caribbean. We're in the Caribbean a lot. We're beach people. I love the water, love beautiful water. In Jamaica, where we go, the couple San Souci resort, it is breathtaking. We love being there. What do you do for a living? I am a forklift salesman for Southland Equipment. My wife runs the company for her mother. My father-in-law started the company in 1971, and he passed away 10 years ago. So when he did, my wife took over the helm from her mother, and that's where we both work. Okay, are you coming to the Myrtle Beach Herp on April the 6th and 7th? Probably not. I will be on vacation the first week of May, and pretty much everything's tied up right there. James Weber. James is very active on the Facebook and the comments on the YouTube. What is your favorite color? This is pretty simple. Red. Favorite color, red. All right, Rod Mitchell. These are still so good, you know. How long do you allow cigars to rest? I assume you mean before I review them. At least 2 weeks, preferably a month. And I'll just sample them along and along to see when I think they're ready. Some are ready easily at 2 weeks. If they have all the flavors that I think, are good, I'll go ahead and review it. If it gets better, another win. I noticed you reviewing more Maduro Oscuro cigars. Well, it's not necessarily by choice. It's just what's new. I just try to stick with what's new on the market. How do you relax your palate? Well, we've sort of talked about this before. Before I do a review, I eat an apple. At least part of an apple, usually the whole thing. Doesn't matter what kind. So really, I haven't found one's better than the other. It's just that it's a good palate cleanser, and everything seems to pop. The flavors, you're going to get the same flavors if you just had spaghetti, but they're going to pop more. So that's why I do it, so I can describe the flavors. Well, here's a few questions from Twitter. Dr. Medieval. Name. I hope he's a nice guy. Sounds kind of menacing. But anyway, he's got some good questions, and he makes a lot of comments So he says, when did you start smoking cigars? I already covered that. So, Doc, I hope you heard that one. What is the best cigar you've ever had? I have no idea. All my cigar, I'll put it this way. All the cigars that I have as number one would be in the running. Um, Probably all of them in my top five each year. If you can go back to looking at them, it's hard to pick just one. I like to. I can't pick just one. How many cigars do you smoke in a day or a week? In a day is pretty easy. It's usually 3 to 4. And if you could smoke a cigar with anyone in history, who would it be? You know, maybe Churchill, maybe my dad. My dad died when I was 13, so that would be nice. Uh, we'll go with that. But those are that's a few. One thing somebody pointed out, and it wasn't much of a question, but they said that it looks like Toro is my favorite size of a cigar. So if you put that in the form of a question, is Toro your favorite size of a cigar? I would say yes. Actually, 6 by 54 is my optimum size. I love that size. And I buy a lot of that size. I review a lot of that size. I also review a lot of Robustos. And it's very simple. Why? I review cigars usually on the weekend, Saturday and or Sunday. Saturday is pretty wide open. Sunday is not. A lot of time constraints. So on Saturday, I'll have the longer cigars, the bigger cigars, the Toros, the Churchills, or whatever. And on Sunday, I'll opt for a shorter cigar to review, usually a Robusto. So, very busy. We're very busy with our church. I'm at the gym after church, and I usually visit my mom in the evening. So there's that Sunday window this big, and I try to fit it in there. Usually I can with usually a Robusto. Sometimes I'll force a time wise I can make a Toro work, but it gets tight. I enjoy reviewing cigars. I started doing it simply as a way for me to keep track of what I've had rather than write it down. When you create a blog, I never thought anybody would actually find it and look at it, but people did and started commenting. This is years ago, little comments here and there. And so I started again, snowball downhill. One thing led to another. Then I discovered YouTube and making videos, and it's been fun. And seems like people sort of like it, but it's still growing. And feel free to spread the word to your friends and everybody if you like it, if you like the videos and like the reviews, because I would like to see it grow a little bit. But that, in a nutshell, is a little about me. And like I said, this has been sort of a fun, half-hearted look at myself. But we'll do it again if you have any other questions somewhere down the road. Hang in there because more reviews of new cigars are coming. Thanks for watching.